Nexus Mods used to be everyone's favorite mod website until, well, they went the left-wing radical wokey direction and things got worse from there. But now things are about to get even worse, especially for those in the UK and the EU, because Nexus Mods is about to make those of you in Europe prove you're an adult. I'm Fox with RealMarcFoxx, and this is your home for rational, reasonable, real gamers. Let's roll the intro.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
You've probably seen the news circulating on X, Reddit, YouTube, and other locations about Nexus Mods requiring age verification, and it appears to be very much true. You see, the EU, the European Union, has enacted new legislation which will require that websites make you prove you're an adult before you can see what they deem to be adult content.
This is all wrong.
Now, obviously, this legislation is primarily meant to hit, well, those websites that show you prawn, and if you know what I'm referring to, well, it's not actually prawn, it's P-O-R-N. And while it's not controversial at all to say that we pretty much all agree that children shouldn't see adult content of that type of nature,
that's true.
well, it will encompass other things that you may not necessarily consider to fall under the definition of prawn.
Fucking thing sucks!
In this case, Nexus Mods is going to be obligated by EU law, at least for those in the EU and I believe the UK as well, to make those users prove that they're an adult through some age verification process before they can see adult content on the website.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
One of the problems with this, of course, is the fact that, well, how you define adult content isn't always clear, and I've noticed that Nexus Mods will hide a lot of somewhat skimpy outfits for characters under the adult label, even though it actually doesn't show any nudity at all. In fact, simple, basic swimsuits for characters are often listed as adult content on the website, despite the fact that these are basic swimsuits you would see at any community pool, beach, or other location where people swim.
Oh no! Oh no!
Now, apart from content that really isn't of an adult nature being falsely flagged as adult by Nexus Mods, a now far left radical wokey website, the other problem we're going to run into is the means by which they're going to get you to prove you're an adult. I know for a fact, based on many news articles I've seen floating around on X and other websites, that states in the US have required such age verification for prawn sites.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
While I don't have any personal experience with any of these age verification systems, from what I've read, they seem to give you a couple different options. You can either upload a government-issued photo ID, which that alone is pretty scary, uploading a government-issued photo ID to a prawn site that you don't know if you can trust or not.
That's suspicious. Or
you can apparently upload or take a picture of your face and it does some sort of AI scan to determine how old you are.
That's racist!
Now, I don't know if that's going to be an option for Nexus Mods or not. Probably it will, but the question comes up. How are they going to know whether you're 18 or over? And does every nation in the EU have the same age set? That's a question that I could easily Google, but I haven't yet because I don't always do all my research for these videos, guys.
That's not going to be good for business. That's not going to be good for anybody.
And then, of course, the question comes up, couldn't you just take a picture of someone else? I mean, even one you got from the internet, just get a picture of one of your family members off Facebook or MySpace. Obviously, no one's using MySpace anymore for that. But you could just get a photo off the internet, upload that, say it's you. They could scan it and say, yep, you're an adult. But on top of that, what if you look younger than your actual age? What if you're 24 but look like you could be 16? Are you going to upload a picture of your face? It'll scan it and say, nope, you don't qualify because you don't look old enough. Now you got to upload that government-issued photo ID with all your information on it. We are, of course, told that this information is not going to be stored in any central server, and it won't be used for any other purpose than just verifying that you're an adult so that you can access this website. But let's be honest, how often have we been told that our information is only going to be used for a certain purpose and won't be kept, and later on we find out,
oh, whoopsie,
we actually did accidentally keep all your information in a big database. Not only can that database be leaked to bad actors on the internet who could get a hold of your government-issued ID and your face,
That's not going to be good for anybody.
whether you want them to or not, but that information can also be compiled, tracked, and used by governments around the world, even governments that you don't necessarily trust entirely. And for me, the list of governments that I do not completely trust with all of my information is as long as the list of every government that exists in the world. So I have a question. Have any of you used an adult website in the United States and been in one of those states that requires that you use age verification? And if so, have you had any issues with it? Do you actually verify your age, or do you just attempt to use a different website that doesn't verify your age because maybe they're not located in a jurisdiction where the US has any authority to stop them? But in this case, for those of you particularly in the EU and the UK, how do you feel about having to prove you're 18 or over to see content on Nexus Mods that may or may not even be of an adult nature? Are you going to upload a government-issued photo ID or a picture of your face to be scanned by AI in order to access those skimpy, questionable, sketchy, even sometimes, dare I say it, inappropriate mods for the characters in your video games?
I don't know, maybe. Yes.
And for those of you on the consoles, you probably don't think this is a big deal because for the most part you can't install mods at all, and if mods are available, they're basically a curated group of mods specifically chosen and allowed on that platform. But for the PC, we can essentially install just about any mod we want as long as the game isn't tracked with some sort of anti-cheat that detects that kind of stuff. I don't know about you, but I don't feel like I should have to upload a picture of my face or government-issued photo ID because I want to download a different colored swimsuit for a character in a video game, especially when that swimsuit is far from what could be considered by most people adult content. But of course the EU and the UK are enforcing their rules regardless of how most people feel. We often find that governments don't always do what the actual population wants.
You're wrong, and you're a grotesquely ugly freak.
And one of the primary excuses they give for exercising more control and manipulation and surveillance over the population is that it's
for the children.
And no one would oppose anything that's
For the children.
because, let's be honest guys,
Won't someone think of the children?
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
well, I'm thinking of the children, and I don't think these kids want to grow up to be adults and live in a society that represents 1984. No, not the actual year, I'm talking about the novel 1984 by George Orwell. And of course, this has more to do than just the EU and or UK enacting some legislation about adult websites, because we're getting to the point now where the question comes up. Will you be able to even create an account on a social media website without proving who you are? Because now I'm hearing that there are some states in the United States that are trying or have enacted legislation that will limit the access of those under a certain age to social media platforms, which means that indirectly, everyone on that social media platform, at least in that state, should, in theory, have to prove their age to therefore establish that they're above that age and that they can use the platform as much as they want and not have the limitations for those under the certain age. You see, any time the government decides to restrict what certain people of an age can do online, that means that everyone else, no matter how old they are going to have to prove they're not under that age limit. And how do we do that? Well, of course, looks like we're going to have to start uploading government-issued photo IDs or scans of our faces. And they'll be saving your IP address at the same time, so if you're not using a VPN or other service that hides your IPN, then basically your face and or government-issued ID can be tied to your IP, and whether you trust these websites and other services not to save your information and track it, well, let me just say this. You shouldn't trust them. Don't trust them. But what do you guys think about these new EU regulations and some of the regulations coming from within the United States in different states? And do you think it's really about protecting kids, or is this more about creating a bigger Big Brother state? I think it's obvious from this video which side of this debate I fall on, but I want to hear from you. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm Fox with RealMarcFoxx, and as always, my friends, stay real, keep playing, and never forget, yesterday's tomorrow is today's today. I'll see you in the next video. Peace! Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I forgot to mention that. Thank you. See you in the next one.